Hey folks, and welcome back to some more Genshin Impact. On our last episode, we had managed to put an end to the Samsara by finding Nilu, of which, once she was aware that she was dreaming, she decided to perform the Dance of Sumeru before we finally came to. Also, it looks like we have another surprise. Dude, your son's alive! Are you the real one? I hope so. We can't talk to you for now, but for now we shall talk to Katheryne, in quotations, home of which is probably Nahida.
You're actually Nahida, aren't you? Paimon felt like Katheryne was acting weird when we met at the Sub-Zero's festival.
Yeah, she was a lot more quirkier.
And Dunyarzad, did you save her? It's a really long story. We shouldn't disturb her. Her consciousness is still weakened. Let's chat somewhere else. How about by the Traveler's favorite bench?
Sure. Now we have to go all the way back to the bench. Call me and go to the bench.
Take it easy.
I'm just curious what she's got to say to us, if anything. Like, how did she manage to save Dunyarzad, amongst other things? Did she find, like, fragments of her dream kicking about?
Take it easy.
I mean, I know she's an Archon and all, but still. It's a curious subject.
Let's talk about Dunyarzad first. It's such a relief that she's alright.
You could say that again, Paimon.
After we parted on the last day of the Sub-Zero's festival, I left the city and saw what the Traveler had described. Among the countless dreams, I found one that was growing fainter and fainter. This proved my suspicion. Once Dunyarzad could no longer bear the Akasha harvesting her dreams, her consciousness began to dissipate. But this also meant it escaped the Akasha's control. Such a small fragment of consciousness can't last for very long, though. It will return to its original dream, where both will gradually fade until they completely disappear.
Oh, so Dunyarzad is still almost out of time?
I used all the power I had to keep her dying dream alive as long as possible. But it still wouldn't have lasted for much longer if it hadn't been for you two breaking the Samsara. So it looks like we did manage to save Dunyarzad in the end. And not a moment too soon.
This is truly a miracle. A very happy ending.
Huh? Why are you two smiling so happily? I thought you'd be so moved that you'd start crying. I need to spend more time observing human emotions. Both are fine. Everyone reacts differently. All right. You two must have a lot of other questions for me, right? After all, you saved my faithful believer. As your reward, I will answer any and all questions.
About what I saw in that dream at the Avidya Forest.
At the Avidya Forest, there was this incense that made the Traveler fall unconscious and dream of a huge tree and a red sky.
Yeah, which is probably related to the Irminsul.
You also heard someone's voice, right? It said world and forget me. Yeah, so you do know! We've been wanting to ask you what that was about, and if the red sky was related to Khaenri'ah. It seems like the Traveler established a connection to Irminsul. That was a message left by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's residual consciousness in Irminsul. Perhaps her last memory before she died.
You know, fair enough, right? Like, my first, assumption was it was going to be related to Kusanali because of how everybody was, basically prioritizing Rukkhadevata, right? But in the end, Rukkhadevata's name was pretty much being exploited for PR, right? So, that's so unfortunate, though. Imagine your lasting legacy getting exploited like that.
As you two probably know, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata disappeared after the disaster in Khaenri'ah. The timings of these events do line up, so your suspicions are reasonable. A message from Greater Lord Rukkhadevata? We thought it was from the Scarlet King.
Nah, I thought it was Nahida initially.
The Scarlet King? That god who died even longer ago? Some present-day desert dwellers still worship him. You probably just heard some of their conspiracies.
Ah, so they are all just loonies.
Okay, so what does the message mean? I still haven't managed to decipher it. Even the Akasha isn't currently capable of doing that. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's residual consciousness in Irminsul seems to be contaminated with something that has a very dangerous aura to it. Many devoted scholars go mad as soon as they connect their consciousness. I've warned the academia about this many times, but people still keep falling victim to it. But I believe this is the key to saving Irminsul. That's why I've kept trying to decipher it. So the tree in the vision was Irminsul? Oh, Tighnari also said that Irminsul is sick. Is it because of the contaminated consciousness? But even if you can't figure out what that vision was all about, it seems like our search for you was all in vain. The Traveler wasn't affected after coming in contact with that consciousness. I've never seen anyone like that. With you here, we may have a chance at deciphering it. No, we must decipher its secrets. I've already eliminated all other factors that might affect Irminsul. This is the only one left. This puzzle has life and death at stake. It could determine Irminsul's fate, as well as Teyvat's.
Why do you look like Katheryne?
To be accurate, I'm using the Akasha as a medium to occupy Katheryne's consciousness.
Makes sense. I mean, she is like an automaton of sorts, right?
How did you do that? Poor Katheryne. Does this mean you can also occupy other people's consciousnesses? Theoretically, I can enter anyone's mind as long as they're wearing their Akasha terminal. The Akasha is the legacy of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. As Lesser Lord Kusanali and the first Akasha terminal, my consciousness has always been linked to the Akasha. I've always respected my people's free will, so I've never actually occupied their consciousness. When necessary, I just borrow this bionic Snezhnayan puppet.
So she really was from Snezhnaya. That does make a lot of sense given the fact that the Adventurers Guild headquarters are, well, quite literally based in Snezhnaya, right? Which also means that Katheryne very well could have something to do with, say, one of the Harbingers, mayhaps? You know, Marionette? That was her name, right? I believe so.
Hold on. Did we just learn some deep, dark secret? So Katheryne is... No wonder Paimon felt something was off about her. What about your own body? Why do you need to borrow other people's? Don't you live in the sanctuary of Surasthana? That story begins a long time ago. After Greater Lord Rukkhadevata disappeared, the sages found my newly born self and took me back to Sumeru. At that time, I was young and weak. The sages kept me in the sanctuary of Surasthana, ostensibly for the sake of protecting me. But I've hardly heard from them since. However, I do understand that they had hoped to find Greater Lord Rukkhadevata instead of me, a symbol of her passing. So, the sages basically put their new Archon under house arrest? How dare they! Why don't you teach them a lesson, Nahida? In some ways, they aren't wrong. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was omniscient and omnipotent. Even after her death, the Akasha is still empowering this nation. And I'm still really far away from being able to call myself the God of Wisdom. Moreover, the academia is also more proficient at governing this country. My existence has little meaning.
To me, you're already an excellent Archon. I mean, like, yeah, you're young and inexperienced, at least by Archon standards, but like, well, that'll grow with time, as do many things.
Yeah, you got a lot of Sub-Zero's festival. Everyone who showed up truly loves you. Thank you for the kind words. But I honestly don't need physical freedom as long as I can connect my consciousness to the Akasha. Trying to find a way to save Irminsul is my life's mission and top priority. I will work on that, and try to live up to being a deity in the meantime. Every once in a while, I will also take up the duties of the God of Wisdom and enlighten a lost soul here and there. Doing all that should be enough.
About the Sage's plan.
There's never been any big problems with the Academia's governance of Sumeru. This is the first time I've seen them step out of line. I wonder what caused them to go down this path, and what they hope to achieve. Even though the city's residents haven't noticed anything strange, if the Traveler hadn't broken the Sub-Zero's Samsara, the situation could have become dire. I tried to do some investigating in the Akasha, but I couldn't find anything suspicious. And all the people of interest seem to purposely avoid wearing their Akasha terminals. I think they're deliberately trying to hide something. Oh, that reminds Paimon. In Gandharvaville, there was a sage who had invited Katheryne to join some kind of project. Could it be related? Regardless, I need to first investigate the sage's motives, make things right, and punish them if needed. But I'll have to be discreet, or they'll see me coming.
No one has realized the issue of the Akasha?
You mean how the Akasha stops you from having dreams? Yeah, it's been such a long time. No one's noticed something's up? It's not that no one noticed. It's more like no one cared. Ultimately, it's all rooted in the sage's misdirection. Misdirection? The sages convinced everyone to believe that being unable to dream is a sign of rationality and wisdom. Not dreaming is a badge of honor in Sumeru, even if the truth is that their dreams are being reaped by the Akasha. With their propaganda in place, the sages can maximize their use of the Akasha to facilitate their research. Besides, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata must have created the Akasha in the hopes that it could be used to its full potential. That's why I've never come out strongly against this. Anyway, the perspective advocated by the sages drowned out any voices of doubt. By now, even those who never use Akasha terminals find it too shameful and embarrassing to talk about their dreams.
I don't have any other questions.
Got it. I hope my answers were satisfactory, seekers of knowledge.
Oh, very much so, you wee munchkin. Although, you're not quite one at the moment. Well, you're one in spirit.
To be honest, maintaining Dunyarzad's fading dream took a lot of mental energy. I think I may need to rest for a while. Oh, and you don't need to worry too much about the sage's activities for now. The Akasha won't be able to conduct another project on the scale of the Sub-Zero's Samsara in the immediate future. Go and get some sleep. Leave everything to us. What a relief. This is truly the most exhausting birthday I've ever had.
Traveler? Paimon? Why am I here? Do either of you know?
Oh, I haven't the foggiest. Maybe you were sleepwalking.
Maybe you were sleepwalking. You know you can't wake up a sleepwalker. We happened to walk by, so we thought we'd wait for you to wake up.
I see. Huh. I should visit my maintenance personnel sometime. Oh, I'm fine. I better go. Thank you.
Tiddly pips for now, Kathy. So, that's everything, right? Yep. I guess there's more? Oh, that's a side quest. Wait, is this for, request? Oh, we can unlock reputation! Let's do that real quick. You know what, why not? Because I was actually wondering what you had to do to get this. And it's like, okay, you know, I'm all for it. There's also some side quests now. But anyway, Effendi. Greetings, welcome to the Citadel of Regzar. This is where the core of 30 get in touch with each other and coordinate. I can see from your outfit that you're not one of them. Oh, I see you came from the recruitment, right? That's right. Very well, then I'll brief you on the gig in case it's not clear. I'm Effendi, a liaison sent by the Academia to coordinate the cooperation between the Academia and the Core of 30. You may have known that the Core of 30 is hired by the Academia to guard the whole Sumeru City. They are additionally responsible for dealing with some problems residents encounter in daily life, which compounds their workload. To ease the pressure, I decided to recruit an assistant after consulting with the Parchamdar. You don't need to worry about city defense, just help us complete the residents' commissions. As to the specifics, most of them are cumbersome and detailed. I'll elaborate with examples. Well, I need reputation level 2, first and foremost. That would probably help. Butter chicken. We're gonna have to do more things. Yeah, We haven't explored much of Sumeru either because we were kind of rushing through the quest because we really wanted to see it. Well, dang. I guess I'll just try and do some world exploration and what have you a little bit off screen just to try and get us on and off. If I do find any very interesting side quests though, like a lengthy one, I will probably record it up. Just so you know in advance. That's the commission in general. It'd be great if you're willing and free to take it. The logistics officer and I agree that you will get fairly paid for every gig you've done. Drivel as these commissions may be, I do hope you recognize the importance of this job. You'll be appreciated and respected by all you have helped with their life. If you stick to it, you'll surely heighten your reputation among the residents, and they'll be more willing to accept you. And I'll offer you more important and complicated jobs by then. That's a general picture of the job. I hope you can think it over. If you decide to take the job, feel free to register for the commissions. Well, we can't right now. Or I might just do some exploration. Actually, yeah, I might want to just save the side quests, you know. But anyway, folks, that's the finale of the Archon quest. So, thank you all very much for watching this series. And, well, I guess I'll see you next time, whether it be side quests, or the Graven Innocence event, or Tanari's, story quest. Just anything that I find along the way and anything that pops up. I mean, there's always the next sub-region of Sumeru that will come up in the future as well. So, with all that in mind, ta-ta for now.